Hey guys, Jack here, and today I'm bringing you some brand new BF1 Domination gameplay. The embargo for this has just lifted, so prepare for the YouTube sub box spam. This footage isn't actually from the closed alpha that's online right now, but rather the EA Play Capture event, which was back on the 13th of June. Unfortunately, the alpha is still under NDA, so I can't show you any footage of that at the moment. So then, Domination is back, no surprise there. I think everyone expected it to be, and you know how it works. Infantry only, 3 flags, but with a similar change to Conquest in BF1, which is that points count up in a linear fashion when you hold a flag, meaning that ticket bleed is no more. So it's all about flag control. The more flags you own, the quicker you'll accrue points. Your kills and deaths don't really matter. All the focus is on objective team play and killing people that are trying to take your flags. So you're going to see a lot of SMG gameplay in here at the start, and then at the end some medic semi-auto action. I don't want to bore you with the technicalities because it's a very simple game mode. Instead, I wanted to talk about a discussion that's going on at the moment in the Battlefield community, and I suppose it revolves around what people's expectancy of how the gameplay in BF1 would look and feel. So when you found out that it was World War I back at the reveal event, if you know anything about the weapons used in that time period or have researched it since, you'll know that mostly bolt action rifles and mounted machine guns were used to fight with. Mounted machine guns for defensible positions and bolt action rifles for anything else with a little pistol action and melee spiced into the mix. British soldiers usually carried the Lee Enfield and Germans a Mauser Gewehr 98. But then towards the end of the war, submachine guns like the MP18 were introduced, and even the M1918 Browning automatic rifle, otherwise known as the BAR or the BAR. I was actually under the misconception that this was a World War II only weapon, and you'll recognise it if you know World War II history or you played any of the World War II games. But in fact, the US Army used it in September 1918 in France. As far as I know, it's not in the game at the moment, but we could see it introduced later on in DLC or whatever. So the point is, based on some people's knowledge and expectations of World War I, a lot of gamers thought that BF1 might be a lot slower paced and focus on bolt action rifle gameplay, similar to a game like Verdun, let's say. And ultimately, it's not like that at all, leaving those people a bit disappointed based on their expectations. The only class that gets bolt action rifles is the scout or sniper class, and in a way I can understand where that audience are coming from, because I think there's something appealing about slower paced, dare I say the word, more hardcore gameplay in a Battlefield game to a certain audience, the gamers that prefer a game like Arma and regularly play it. And perhaps those guys hoped for a swing in that direction for BF1. Change can be welcomed as much as consistency from time to time, and it brings up an interesting argument of realism versus authenticity versus fun. Either way, the facts are the facts, and DICE have developed BF1 here in the way that they wanted to, and they've stuck with something that feels more Battlefield. And when I say more Battlefield, I mean that I think it hits that sweet spot between a game like COD and a game like Arma. It caters to that audience that wants something in between. In my opinion, it's just a much more refined version of it than ever before. So if you want to, you can be that infantry only player, but your gun has in-depth spread, accuracy and recoil mechanics that you're going to have to learn. And as I said in that good and bad video that I released back on June 23rd, this is a Battlefield game. You've got 4 classes that feel very different from each other. You've got class-based weapons that, more than ever before, if you want to use them effectively, you've got to really cater to their strengths and engagement distances. I'm personally really into that, and I think that it improves the gameplay and team play dynamic of a squad. If everyone has access to bolt action rifles, would the classes feel that different and have that unique Battlefield style? No, they probably wouldn't, and all class weapons anyway should have to be worse than average, because if they weren't, then everyone would pick them, and that leads to a really boring gameplay experience. For example, the M16A3 in BF3, most people only played the medic class so they could use that weapon and heal themselves at the same time, because it was the best all-round gun and it didn't have any weak areas. And yeah, that got really stale, because if you wanted to play competitively and always be as good as you could be, you'd be a fool to not use that weapon. And I really believe that moving away from that is a positive step for the Battlefield franchise. As you've seen in the video here today, SMGs dominate in close quarters. The gameplay is really fast here. It's domination, infantry only, it's a small map. Most people are going to be using an SMG. But when you're playing Conquest or engaging at larger distances, SMGs do diddly squat. Like, you're going to get beaten by every other class in the game, and you'd be very lucky to get a kill at distance if you wing someone on low HP with a bullet. It's very unlikely to happen. I think that's great, and they've really defined the roles for each class. Is it to everyone's taste? No, it isn't. Not everyone will like this, of course, and I'm sure that some of those people who were expecting slower paced gameplay based around bolt action rifles won't pick up the game, and that's fine. I think it's a really interesting topic anyways, the whole expectation authenticity thing. These weapons did exist in World War I though. Look them up online on Google. The SMGs, the semi-automatics, they were used. But ultimately to me, that doesn't really matter. I don't really care about it. The most important thing for me is fun, gameplay, variety and class balance. That's what Battlefield is to me, and it's been that way since 1942. Is the game fun? Yeah, I think it is. I've played the same map, St. Quentin Scar, for around 10 hours now, and I still enjoy myself. Squad play when you're on comms or TeamSpeak is fantastic in BF1 in my opinion. So what do you think, and what were you expecting with this game being set in World War I? More bolt actions, less tanks? Let me know. The way I see it is that this is obviously a cinematic, popcorn, modern, almost steampunk version of World War I that we're getting here. And I think it fits the mold well for a Battlefield game. It feels like you're experiencing the video game form of a war when you play Conquest Large. Probably the weirdest thing I've ever said. I've never been in a real war, I don't want to. Video games are designed for fun, and real war is most definitely not fun and a horrific thing. But I didn't get that war feeling in a Battlefield game since BF2, and you'll know what I mean if you played the older Battlefield games like 1942. It's not perfect though, of course. There's a lot of legacy bugs to fix that I've noticed and pointed out. If you were paying attention, you probably saw the reload bug earlier in the video too, but a DICE dev told me that this has been patched in a newer build of the game, so fingers crossed, because that one is very annoying indeed. There we have it guys. As always, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, a thumbs down, and I'll see you in the next one.